you are tuning in, this is video 2, my friends. So make sure to watch video number 1 because watching things in numerical order is fun. But if you just tune in and you just want to keep it in this space of the place, if you feel out of place, know why, because you didn't watch video number 1. And even though I'm not saying I'm starting exactly from there, but you know how I just flow with babbles everywhere. I started talking about things from 10 videos ago because right now I'm going to continue from the conversation I was having from video number 1 in regards to the stuff that I was talking about in my other older videos from last year around this time. Yeah, and just, you know, the things that I was saying that are making much more sense in the now today, right? So, and I ended the last video talking about the Piscean moon energy, and I said in Western astrology, I'm a Pisces moon. But what's interesting is I placed it down, right? I placed the deck down and I went to press record and get my sage. Should I put somewhere? Oh, right in front of my face. Okay. So, you know, this is not my sage, but it is my sage, and it came from Pampery on Instagram if you're interested in sage bundles, because this I showed in another previous video that you can check out and see about my receiving of her beautifully packaged 2 product of sage bundle package, which is really affordable. I am all about, I don't care about price of things unless it's just like ridiculous, like, you know, and it's just not, you know, whatever. You gotta use discernment in shopping too. But like, I'm not all about the, I come from the fashion industry for like, I worked in the fashion industry for over 10 years, and just understanding the dynamics behind the scenes of just clothes in itself, and just, you know, the snootiness of life, and just, you know, the glamour, the illusion sold. Not saying that I don't appreciate fashion and I don't like to get dressed up and I don't like to play, you know, like I don't like to express myself through clothes, because I do, and I have lots of clothes, and I do keep on cycling and giving away stuff every single time. You know, you have this system, this method of, you know, if you receive something new, give something away, or, you know, whatever, and keep up that feng shui of a flow of a way. Anyways, Pampery, what can I say? It actually smells absolutely delicious, and she's absolutely adorable, and so a beautiful soul. Yes. Okay, so, granted, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Piscean moon energy, and then what I was saying in the last videos, and now I'm looking for a lighter that's distracting me from my flow, see, so just that to me, guys, apologies, it's 4:18 in the morning, okay? But, you know, not that that's anything on you whenever you watch this, whenever it's uploads, and whenever you get to it, it's gonna be later on in life, you know, when I long recorded this, but, this is what we should do when we catch ourselves being ruffled in a feather, or overwhelmed, or just frustrated too, just for simply looking for something that's most likely in front of my face. So I'm gonna breathe. Maybe you need to breathe. Maybe you stop yourself short. Maybe that can be your symbolic practice to expand on. Expanding your breath, your life force. Your breath is your life force. Did you know that? Yes. If you didn't have breath, you could breathe, you wouldn't have this life. You see what I mean? So above anything of gratitude, you see, even if you don't understand certain things, this is about like the sentient force of life beings, understanding yourself multidimensionally, knowing too that you are more than this external body. Right, because when I close my eyes, there's something going on, a light inside, and there's a lot of activity when I pay attention to the inside of my life, my will, my DNA existing in form in some way that has its own shape, curly in every kind of way. Okay? Right. I'm amused because I got distracted by my own cuteness, and to know that I never felt that way, and to be able to say and not, like, you know, just acknowledge that in myself and share it so openly in that kind of way, because it could be interpreted in many kind of ways. But again, it's about the alignment that you find with yourself and your truth and your stance in that place. This goes back to that video number 1 when I was doing that whole depiction of, you know, the one that knows its place, its space, and says stand back. You see, I don't care if everyone is attacking me. I know my truth. You see, that kind of thing. Rise, beautiful. You're here. That means you're ready. No. What do you mean? If you're encountering me, that means you're deep, whether you acknowledge it or not. Because I'm pretty freaking deep. Yeah. I go places nobody wants to go. Ever. No matter the weather. That's what I would, or what humans would call that shadow work path of this infusion of light, dark aspects to even ourselves, to get to know that inner well, to introduce yourself to yourself multitudes of times, because there's so many parts of you. It's like the onion layer peeling back your own life. There's much to discover. The breath of life that is you. At the moment of your death, we still pay attention to the cause of death. No one focuses on the life, the breath that is the one leaving. Oh, I got so emotional, but we're not gonna go there because it's already late. I'm already a hot mess. I'm tired, and I feel empowered, and energized to do what I am here to do, whatever this is, this flow gasmic. But anyway, so I just pressed stop. Now I hit record again, and then I looked down at the card that I put down, which is the Piscean Moon card that I read in video number 1, if you want to know what Piscean Moon says. But either way, like, those of you tuning in might have heavy Pisces in your chart and stuff like that, so check out your Vedic and Western signs, and then underneath it I have Pisces rising, so maybe you have a Pisces rising too in your Vedic or Western sign. Then the rising sign came up to further explain that, and then I saw Capricorn moon, and then I see Gemini moon too. Okay, either way, so, like, you know, Capricorn in your chart, Gemini, the fact that I'm just seeing these signs, I'm not saying, but, like, you know, we are more than one sign, so make sure you know, if you're into this kind of thing, to get to know your birth chart well. And there's many free sites that offer your birth chart in both Western and Vedic astrology that you can learn more. And then if you want to learn more, then you gotta invest in that, you know. So, like, you know, but there's so much free information out there, so that you can just, you know, Google and discover, because, you know, apparently Google has been set up to just know everything, everybody's business too, because Google gets all the types. So, rising. The rising sign of an individual is the part of the self that appears to others, okay? This is the habitual side and the surface representation of the self. The energetic vibe and overall appearance are most closely aligned to this sign. Style and first impressions, or the mask presented to others, fall under the rising sign within the birth chart. The rising sign is the part of the personality shown to others first and most often, right? Good. Okay. Then you've got Pisces rising. Pisces rising signs are the soft-hearted, dreamy type. They carry mystical, somewhat ethereal vibes. Extremely sensitive by nature, Pisces rising signs prefer peaceful interactions and avoid confrontations at all costs. Ooh, Ouroboros style is coming back now. So, yeah, pow. Okay, so certain things that were once avoided and swept under the carpet, you see. Certain avoidings of certain levels of accountability, because it's uncomfortable, you see, to feel these kind of things so deep, or to go that way and address certain kind of topics and things that may have been stunted in its growth long ago, because the put into the practice that was needed to shift change. Because if you if nothing changes, nothing changes. And so that's like that cycle effect of doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again and over again, expecting different results just because it's a different residence, different person that you're now dealing with, or different, you know, state, country, blah, blah, job, like, or circumstance. But the experience of the vibration and the energy, all repetitive, man. So it's about your own reflections, you know. So, you know, most people like to reflect in either the can. I'm going to go with the bathroom with that. Okay. You know, or when they're forced into this isolated state. So that's why they'll be like, oh, those that, you know, tap into otherworldly kind of things usually have some kind of like near-death experience, near-death, NDE, near-death. Like, I'm getting the acronym wrong. Did you get it? Like, near, like, light. Near-death experiences. Right? How many times that maybe we didn't have that physical near-death experience, but how many times have we died in this life? In this 3D one that we acknowledge at this time. But I have been saying since even before my mama's death, and my mama died when I was 9. And ooh, I was like being buried alive. I was angry for some time. I couldn't even speak about she because it hurt so deep. No mention of she from any he or she or other. That's my mother. Right? This unfair injustice that took place. The one woman who served me plates of love. Whoa, wrecked, you see. To leave me here to suffer even more, you see, without my mommies. Right? Cuts so deep. Right? Now she speaks. Healing free. Okay, to share these things. Right. Okay. I get it. Anyway. Right. What was I saying? Get distracted with my own theatrics. So, infusing DNA right now, okay? So, if we go back to video number 1, I was talking about this kind of stuff, and so clearly someone might be here a little later on watching this, not having seen video number 1 and thinking they can escape video number 1 explanation, so they can get the whole documentation. Stubborn as this nation. But either way, going back to video number 1's concept of just like what I was sharing, it was like a smoke screen taking place, and there was a smoke screen earlier in the day too in a reading I gave, and that's why I paused right now, because I forgot about that. I also wanted to just, I know this is going off topic and see, but just because I mentioned it, you see, I'm so thankful for all of thee who have been going to my website, you see, and just signing up for and booking me for services. I'm so thankful. And I'm also thankful for everyone that has signed up for the free event that still has some spots left, right? For you, if you're interested in the kind of groovy groove that I do in some kind of way, and you're just curious to see what it's going to be about. Anyways, come participate. Or you don't have to. You don't even have to be on camera. It's I that's supposed to speak, right? Although it's a joining or whatever, there's going to be some rules, you know, and everything that we do, you know, set aside some structure, granted, and that's coming from wildfire free Sagittarius and me that doesn't plan anything. Anyways, that's just to humor myself. But what was I saying? Going back to video number 1, granted, right? Okay, sorry, forgive me guys, but it's not 4:30. 5, 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Ace of Cups energy, right? right? Love is sparking some people like a firecracker lit up their ass. This overwhelming, new, overflowing feeling that's pouring out of your vessel in some kind of way. It's being sparked, engaged in some kind of way. It's activate, heart chakra activation, solar plexus, root, all of our chakras are being activated. If you want to look at it in a labeling system of something to give you a visual of like all the things that are taking place internally that maybe you can't see with your physical eyes, which you're trained to believe. Seeing is believing in this life. So mindful we are to understand the construct system of our system. To then, oh, okay, I see that I came out of this vagina and I've been shown that we believe and hold as fact and proof in some kind of way that seeing is believing. And if we don't see, it's hard to believe, and we sometimes don't acknowledge or honor or support certain themes or things because it's not provable to the human eye, you see. But we are more than these themes. Stretch, please. So going back to video number 1, because this is fun, and I babble, you see, and if you're not into any kind of like babbling and you just like speak clearly and straight and all this and kind of way, I am sure that you can find someone that resonates with you and speaks the way that you do. How about it be you? To share with care whatever it is that you got going on inside there in your own rare, unique shape and form that is your own. You don't need to sound like anyone else or appease anyone else either. Just yourself. You know? Right. Granted. So yeah, the hybrids and many others that are not hybrids, but you know, went with a dominating or feeling dominated energy. Because to rule and move and conform to your environment is like to be part of that consensus thing of surveying, of statistics, of acceptance, of some kind of mathematical equation that is formulated based off of whatever understanding or connection or like knowledge is formed or learned based off of a study or some kind of statistic that's created based off of one or some perception that created a theory to be tested to validate another theory of whatever one believes the outcome will be. But that's only based off of their level of perception, you see, because here comes evolution. Now, addressing that leveling of conformity, taking it up a notch to raise that into something new that it needs to be in order for evolution to continue to be. And you know, that's when you get a lot of like that stagnating energy, which is that resistance, that fixed sign appeal of like, no, I must keep this broken book. I know there's a new book over there, but I have to have this one. Even though I can't read any of the pages. Just this one. But you have a nicer copy book in your language that you speak to now be offered to you to utilize for free. Here, you know, just put the book down. It's the same thing, like, you know, but just, you know, or not, because if you're creating new, you're not creating the same thing, which is kind of like that depiction in our conditioning of the resurrection of the phoenix, burnt to ashes, dust. So when you resurrect again, flames, passionate, having resurrected itself through its healing phase after meeting death, in whatever metaphorical or real kind of way. Like the whole Jesus debate, right? After 3 days, he rose again, Phoenix. You know, and when you think about it from that kind of conditioned state of perception, does that create evolution, or does that depiction create repetitive behavioral patterns and conditionings to still continue because you're still not addressing or shifting the actions, behaviors, thoughts, and ways of doing things that supported the previous. Like, you're using those methodologies to support your now shifted levels. And it's like finding new love, but bringing your ex-lover just because. Or finding new love, but refusing to let go of being single, but wanting it. Like, it's just like this resistance of things. Because the only reason I speak about love, even too, when I bring it up here, like, is because the Ace of Cups came out, right? And then you're working on it. Two of Pentacles on this earthly place or domain, or maybe that's what's rising out of you. But discernment must be learned through you, because you have this Pisces energy, right? And this, like, what it explains the rising sign to be here would say that the appearance or the mask that is known up until today, that you have been a part of creating, of a way that you are perceived maybe in the eyes of others in some kind of way. It's like you don't want to address the change by aligning in your own truth and doing the new that you feel appointed to do, and resisting that too, because it goes out of box from what you're already used to, right? So if you go back to the video number 1, and I started talking about last year's videos that I was recording, and I was talking about the Ouroboros, like the serpent eating its own tail and everything coming back into full circle, and how there was 50-50, that we're going to take the opportunity that was given at that time of evolutionary shift, change, to do what is right for you in alignment and truth. That's what's right. Like, when you be like, how do you know what's right and what's wrong? What was right for you at the time that you felt and you knew that you still didn't do, and you went with what was most easiest. So this can be in so many levels of things, whether it be in relationships, partnering, business, career, whether it be at home, whether it be in the way that you do things, go about things, or the execution of the way that you do things. Like, you know, if you want to start getting things done, and you know that you need to start getting things done, and you still don't get things done, you know, where's the shift? So, and then you went back to the same cycle of shit, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, and manipulating the energies to fit the mold that you were trying to sell. And you either did that by actual manipulation of trying to control every single situation so that everyone and everything comply to the way, the vision that you were trying to see, that may have not been as honest as can be, or you didn't do a thing. Okay, so you pick and choose the two. You didn't do a thing, or you did plenty of other things to try to keep hidden the passage you were trying to skip of your own evolution, right? So Ouroboros style, right? So, okay, speaking of that, and everything coming full circle. Here we are. Full circle. Full circle. And now we're at 25, and I'm gonna have to do a video number 3, guys. I guess so. It's one of those nights. Alright, so thank you for tuning in with me. Make sure to check out video number 3. If this resonates with you, great. If it does not, it's poetry and emotion. Either way, this is a healing station. So feel these elevations, this alchemy that just exists, and so it is. You know what I mean, jelly beans? So I speak again.